All right, we have our basses over here, altos, sopranos, tenors. And we're going to begin with what we did last evening with the basses. Do, mi, sol, do. Okay, a little stronger. Do, mi. Okay. A lot of people ask me, why do you do that? I think some people already know, but some don't know. And so we're getting our pitch where we can start together. We can, it's pitched in a way that we can all sing together. We hear all those parts, and that sounds beautiful. And, but it has a really great sound. But now, that's what we were just doing. Do, mi, sol, do. The next song we're going to sing, we'll start with the basses over here. And I believe it's going to be in the key of E flat. So do will be on E flat. Do. Altos are going to have the same note. Do. Sopranos will have a mi, and then so, do, mi, so, do, mi. See right there? There's the, you can stop now, okay? Save yourself, because we've got a lot of singing to do tonight, okay? Basses are starting on that note right there. It looks like that. Housetop shape, triangle. And the sopranos are on a mi, the diamond shape. Do, mi, that's where they are. And then the tenors are on a note that's an oval. Do, mi, sol. But we get back, no one could get that mi and sol until they hear the do first. That's why it's important that I sound the do. So let's start now. Do, basses, alto, mi, so, mi. I will sing the wondrous story of the Christ and me. I will have the glory for the cross of Calvary. Yes, I'll sing wondrous story of the Christ and me. I will sing with faithful voice and do. It's going to be in the key of A flat, which means do will be on A flat. Do, but who has that? Basses. Do, sopranos. You have the same note. Do, tenor. Mi, soprano. Do, sol. Here we have again, basses have that do shape. Sopranos do too. Do. And then the tenors have the mi. And then there's a do, sol, alto, do. The Lord is my light. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And He is my strength, the defense of my life. Quick review of what we've worked on the last couple of nights. The time signature, which is the numbers, 4 over 4, for example, relates to tempo. What else relates to tempo besides the numbers? The song itself. I believe that's probably more important than those numbers there. is understanding the message of what we are singing. I was leading a song in January at a couple of places back in Texas, and I led a song, an old song, the Balm of Gilead. Maybe y'all have heard that song. And I led that in one place. Somebody came up to my wife and said, I don't like that song. And she said, why not? I don't understand it. Well, I think we need to understand what we're singing. So the next time I led it, I did a little research on it, talked about that before we sang the song, and I had people coming up and say, you know what, I didn't know what it meant, but I do now. And you're probably right now, you want me to tell you, but I'm not going to. Because I don't have time to tell you right now. So go do what I did. Go look it up. No, I got to tell you. Okay. Okay. The balm of Gilead. Balm was a substance, a perfume, ointment used for healing. And it was found and produced in the area of Gilead, which is east of the Jordan River. And so it was understood physically to be very helpful for healing. But from a spiritual standpoint, the New Testament, for example, the gospel of Christ, it heals. It heals souls that are sick. And that's what really, in a nutshell, what it's about. And maybe we'll sing that tomorrow night if I remember to put that in. But it's a good old song from the past. But I love the song. I love the melody, the harmony, but I really love the message of the song. That really helps me in leading it. I don't get too worked up over when I do, understand me, I'm concerned about the beat patterns and all that, but I like to lead with more emotion because of what the message is in the song. So that's what really helps to determine mostly the tempo. But we have measure bars. I told the boys today over at the school, some of them are just up there beating time, and they're not paying any attention to the measure bar. I said, fellas, you got to get your hand coming down to the right of every measure bar because that's beat one. Beat one is very strong. We want to emphasize that. I mean, for example, my Jesus, I love thee. I know thou art mine. I'm overemphasizing it now, but it really helps to keep the tempo moving and not dragging the tempo through. But between one measure bar and the next, it's called a measure. In this case, when you got a 4 on top, it says there's 4 beats per measure. And we use a beat pattern, which is a 4-beat pattern, down, in, out, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where the soul never dies. For example, I want you to feel the rhythm of this song. To Canaan's land I'm on my... You go ahead and sing along with me, and I'm going to start counting, and so you feel the rhythm. 4 beats. To Canaan's land I'm on my way, where the soul of man lives. 1, 2, 3, 4. Darkest night will turn to day, where the soul of man lives. 1, 2, 3. Knows happy farewell. I realize I don't have the time to go through teaching about note values with whole notes and 3/4 notes and half notes. Here's what I do. What little time we have together, if anything, feel the rhythm of any song that we sing. When you look up there at that top number and there's a 4 on top, think 4 beats. 2, 3, 4. That'll be very, very helpful. What about when we have a 3 on top? 3 beats per measure. We use a 3-beat pattern. Down, out, up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Servant song is in 3, 4 times. See the number 3 on top? You want to feel the rhythm of 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Make me a servant just like your son, for he was a servant. Please make me 1, 2, 3. Make me a servant. Do what you must do to make me a servant. Make me like you. there's a 2 on top, 2 beats per measure, and we use a 2-beat pattern. Down, up, 1, 2. Jesus loves me. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. There's no one to 1, 2, 1, 2. But he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. All right, very good. We had this up there last evening. For example, taking the lyrics and the notes out of the song God is Love. Here, this is called the grand staff. The songwriter will look at that, and then we'll put the treble staff sign up there for where the sopranos and altos sing, and song leaders, and then puts in the bass staff for where the basses and tenors are singing. And each one of these lines is represented by a letter for the musical alphabet. They're not the same in the bass staff clef as they are in the treble. But tenors and basses are singing there. And then here's the key signature to determine the pitch of the song. And then puts in the time signature that relates to tempo on both of those staffs, treble and bass. Then puts in the notes. Here are the notes for the soprano. If you want to try to do this with me, let's just do the singing names. Do, re, mi, the do, the solfege. Do, do, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's the melody line. Do, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Words. Come, let us all unite to sing. Put in the alto. Do. Send the same note as sopranos there. Stem going up for soprano, stem coming down, telling us the altos need to sing the same note. Do, do, re, mi, fa, fa, mi. Do, do, re, mi, fa, fa. Words. Come, let us all unite to sing. Put in the tenor notes. Do, tell me to your starting note. You'll get it because you know where do is. There you go. Do, mi, so, do. So, words. Come, let us all unite to sing. The basses have a bunch of do-dos. Okay? If they don't get this, they should be called a do-do. Go get it. Do, there's your start note. Do, 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 do. Fa, re, do. Again. Do, 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 do. Fa, re. Words. Come, let us all unite to sing. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start with sopranos. You're going to sing it through 4 times, but you sing it 1 time by yourself. Second time, altos join, and then the tenors will join, basses will join. And we're going to hear the soprano part, soprano melody. That's what we're mostly used to hearing. Sounds pretty, but it will sound a little bit better when you add the harmony with the alto and tenor and the bass. Again, if we don't pitch the song correctly, leaders, you're not going to get this sound. If you pitch the song way too high, sopranos won't be able to hit it, nor will the tenors. Pitch it too low, bass is not going to get it, nor will the altos. We pitch the song where we need to put it, where the writer of the song, some writers have come back and said, well, I pitched it a little bit too high. They come back and have changed it a little bit. But for this right now, I want you to hear this. Again, I said a while ago, it's pretty to my ear. But that's not what we're doing this for, is to please me. You always got to keep in mind, this is all focused toward God. Giving him the best we can give him. And when we do this, we're giving him the best we've got. And we want to keep improving and get better and better at what we're doing and serving him. Do, do. Okay, sopranos, you start. Come, let us all unite to sing. Come, let us all unite to sing. Come, let us all unite to sing. Come, let us all notice something, but there's something's happened to our singing. Tempo-wise, we started dragging. And you know what? It's only one verse. We get by the time we get to the end of the song, it's going to sound like a dirge. It's going to sound like a funeral march. I mean, it's just going to be really dragging. So when I tell you to think 4 beats, don't be thinking of slowing down with those 4 beats. Keep the 4 beats moving. And maybe one thing, me not directing you is probably part of it too. I'm have my back turned to you, but I need to be. Let me do it this way, and let's do this. Let's do this again. Let's keep that tempo moving throughout. That way we don't have delay. Do, mi, do. I think 4 beats, okay? Come, let us all unite to sing. God is love. Let earth their praises ring. God is love. Let every soul from sin away, each in his heart sweet music make, and sing with us for Jesus' sake, for God is love. God is love. God is love. God is love. Come, let us all unite to sing that God is love. Much better, much better. The scale is a series of 7 tones taken in order, successive order, in 8 tones if you count the octave. Do, do, that's called an octave. The C major scale, someone have a pitch pipe, guys, over here, just, or app on your phone or whatever, just give me a C, if you would please. Do, sing the scale with me, okay? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. All right, come down. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Foundation of all of our music, all of our songs are based upon the scale. Those notes right there. See how well you do with this. I'm going to see how well you can kind of jump around. Let's sing. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, mi, sol, do, sol, do, sol, mi, sol, do, sol, mi, do, sol. Usually most people get a little bit farther than that, okay? All right, think of it. How are you going to hit that block? Get you a do. Get you a do. Do, ti, la. There you go. La, sol, fa, mi. Part of you have it, part of you don't. Fa, mi, sol, la. Yeah, okay, finally I hear one person. Fa, fa, re, do. This takes a lot of practice, just hearing those intervals. But I tell you, you can sing any song in the hymn book when you're able to do that, to jump from and you don't even need an instrument to do that. You can hear those intervals, and that's what I'd like to do. By the way, the workbooks came in, and they are available. If you want to purchase one, it's fine. If you want to just borrow it and use it, just don't write in it, and I'll take it home with me. But they're up here on the front pew. But most everything I've got and showing is in the workbooks. So some people say I like to have this whenever I leave, or after I leave, and work on it. Here's an exercise that I grew up on that my dad had in his early booklets that he made. But do it with me if you would, please. Do, re, do, re, do, re, mi. Good. That's good. You did a good job on that. Now let's go to When My Love to Christ Grows Weak. Let's look at, this is in the same key, the key of C, but let's look at the soprano notes first. Do, let me have a note, see, we might have flatted. Do. Yeah, we flatted. Do. All right, everybody on these notes here. Do, mi, 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 fa, 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 re, re, sol, fa, fa, mi, mi, do, 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 ti. Let's put in the alto now. Do, 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 ti, 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 re, re, do, do, mi, 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 sol, sol, fa, fa, mi, 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 do, ti, re, do. Put in the tenor now. Do, mi, sol, 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 sol. Okay, put in the basses now. Do, 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 re, 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 sol, 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 ti, do, do, do. Okay, now let's put in, we won't worry about the counting now. The words now. Do, do. Let's get a new do. Do, basses, do, alto, mi, sol, mi. Words. When my love to Christ grows weak, when for deeper faith I seek, so you know, when we heard the tenor singing, that was pretty monotonous, wasn't it? When they were by themselves, that all the way across that line, one note, but just that one note that they're hitting all the way across there, blending in with the other voices, just fills in, just kind of fills in the gaps, doesn't it? Beautiful, it's beautiful. Again, we're we know what our aim and goal is to please God in what we're doing, to give Him the glory in what we're doing. But we're going to benefit from it. Think how edified you are and lifted up. We benefit from this. And so I think about those people that I invite to come to our worship assembly who've never, ever in their life heard anything like this. And how many people have you heard tell you go to a funeral and they hear a cappella singing and they say, I didn't know that could even be done. I mean, it's just unbelievable because they're so used to hearing an instrument overpowering, really, most of the time. But we're using our voices that God gave us, and we must use them. And I'm going to talk about that on Sunday morning in our Bible class, that talk about the heart. And we're not talking about the blood pumping organ in our bodies. We're talking about the part that we think and reason with. But anyway, we'll talk more about that as we go along. Very good. Now let's go through this scale using a beat pattern. If you want to use your hand to beat the pattern with this, it'd be fine. Let's go up to the top here and just give me about a D. No, just a D. Do. Okay, these are whole notes. So we're going to give them 4 beats, every one of them. Do, re, mi, fa. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Cut. Good. We did it 4 beats because it says at the top 4 beats per measure. Someone asked me last night, what's the bottom number? It's referring to the notes that are there. Quarter notes, for example, here. Each quarter note gets a beat. What do we have when we put 4 quarters together? We have a whole, don't we? So you'll see that more in one of the others coming up. Now look at 3/4 time. We got 3 beats per measure, and we beat it with the 3-beat pattern. Again, this up here moving our hand is very important. Keeps us moving and not dragging a song. That's why we beat the pattern here. Let's do 3 beats now. Do, re, mi, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go to 2/4. 2 beats per measure. Each quarter note gets a beat. What's 2 quarters equals a half, but we're singing half notes here. 2-beat pattern. Do, re, mi. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, cut. Now look at this 4/4 here. We're back to 4/4. 4 beats per measure. Each quarter note gets a beat. Each one of these are quarter notes. So we're going to give each one a beat. Go up and come down. I'm going to use the beat pattern so I don't get lost. Do, re, mi, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, re, do. Okay, just don't hold it so long. Just give it 1 beat. Do, re, mi, do, ti, la. Good, 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 good. Now, 8th notes. Here's this, that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's go. Do, do, re, re, mi, mi, fa, fa. Do, ti, ti, la, la. Those are 8th notes with the flag on it. What about 2 flags? 16th notes. 1 A and D, 2 A and D, 3 A and D, 4 A and D. If you learn to count that, then you can go do, 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 re, 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 re. Y'all ready? Do, 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 re, 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 mi, 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 fa, 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 fa. Oh boy, that's too many do's. All right, but you get the idea. I'm glad that we don't have a song with all 16th notes or a song with all whole notes. But we do have songs like we had last night. We did this one. What a song. 2 starts off with 2 16th notes. It's what a song of delight. You get off of that really, really quick. But then I found another one this afternoon, Above the Bright Blue. Same way. There's a beaut, there's a beaut, there's a beaut. You want to go, there's a beautiful, but there's a beautiful place called heaven. Let's do that. Do, so, mi. Okay. There's a beautiful place called heaven. It is hidden above the bright, where the good who from earth ties are riven, live in love and eternity through. Above the bright blue, the beautiful blue, Jesus is waiting for me and for you. Heaven is there. Beautiful city of light. See right there? Beautiful city. That's a 16th note of light. Again, I know old songs that we've been singing for many, many years. We kind of learn them wrong, and we continue singing them wrong. But that's okay. If it's a new song that I'm teaching you, I want you to learn it correctly. But we learned a lot of songs incorrectly. So I did. I've had people come up to me as I was growing up saying, "You're not singing that correctly," and it kind of bothers you when somebody does that. But when you look down, that person's right. But like I showed y'all last night, I'm not going to come back and try to change people on something that they've learned a certain way. Because again, it's not just about the notes. Again, it's about what we're singing and that we're glorifying God in what we're doing. I've learned a lot, and that's one thing I've learned through the years. It's not so much about getting the voice in tune as it is getting the heart in tune. But I really believe that you get the heart in tune, you'll want to do your best at getting your voice in tune. And so, I think some songwriters wish could go back and change a song the way people have learned it, because it makes more sense maybe. And my wife Vicki is a wonderful alto, has a wonderful alto voice, and my dad would sometimes run songs by her. Say, Vicki, what do you think? And if she said, RJ, I don't like that, the way that sounds, or I don't like what, and he'd change it a lot of times because he knew Vicki had a good ear, and he would always talk about how Vicki had this wonderful voice. And one night he and I were at the Kleinwood singing in Houston, and there were about 1,200 people there that night, and he and I were sitting up on the front row, and he leaned over to me and he said, I hear an alto behind me that I think got Vicki beat. There's somebody behind me a few pews back that I think it can outdo Vicki on alto. We got to the break, he turned around and it was Vicki. And he thought, he wanted to find somebody that could just maybe top her. But anyway, she's got a great voice, alto voice, and it just blends very, very well. Doesn't stand out to the point that it's offensive to people to their ear. But I know that songwriters, having lived in the household of one, he was very attentive to the things that we would offer to him in changing something. And not all songwriters that way. They kind of leave it the way they want it, and that can be okay most of the time. Getting the correct pitch. Let me show you something about the scale. We've been singing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Here's the C major scale, but what makes a scale like this? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I can go to a keyboard and go to middle C, and I hit every white key without hitting any black keys. That's your C major scale. You get into another key of F, you're going to have a note in there. It's a black key. And you get into the key of B flat, you're going to have a couple of black keys you're hitting. You've got two flats in it. Let me just show you something. Between mi and fa, it's a half step. But again, going back to a keyboard, if I hit a white key and a white key, that's a full step. Do, re. But if I hit that black key in between the two white keys, it's do, di, re. But all the way up that keyboard are half-step increments. Da, 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 da. But between mi and fa, it's where you look on the keyboard, you got two white keys together? That's E and F. That's mi and fa. And then you go up there to the top of that scale, there's two white keys. It's B and C. It's a half step. That's T, do, in the key of C. So look right here. We could count it. We could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So I put in red here. There's a half step between mi and fa and ti and do. That's what determines a major scale. I'm not going to get into the minor scales, but just want you to see that. Again, here's our lines and spaces for the treble staff. E, G, B, D, F, F, A, C, E. But now look where do moved. In another key, for example, key of F, here's it up on space F. So we got to still have a half step between mi and fa and between ti and do. That's what a major scale is all about. So we put in this F, G, A, B flat. Now what does a flat do? It lowers the tone by a half step. So instead of a B right there, you have to come back to a black key on that keyboard and hit that B flat to make it a half step between mi and fa. Then you get to the top here, T-do is E and F, those two white keys together. So that's what determines a major scale, is a half step between mi and fa and T and do. Now we move it to another position on the staff. It's the key of G. Between mi and fa, it's got to be a half step. Between T and do, it's got to be a half step. Here's our G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Now what does the sharp do? Just the opposite, raises a half step. But why is that done? To keep this a major scale between T and do. And there we have it. See, it's a lot easier to sing these singing names when you have one syllable. But if you're trying to sing a song and throw in these flats and sharps, it's going to be very, very difficult to do. That's why we have this method that was invented or came about around the 11th century. Not shape notes, singing names of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Shape notes came along much, much later. Just wanted you to see that, and that's all I'll say about it. Probably won't talk about that anymore. But I want you to notice that on page 13 of the workbook, here's the key of C. All right, just sing the letters. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right, the song "There's a Fountain" is in the key of C, and there's our starting note. Do. There is a fountain filled with blood. All right, and then I want to show you this too. Here's that note right here in the scale. See where I have the burst right there? Let's go to the next song. To Christ Be True is in the key of C, but our starting note for sopranos and song leaders is on a mi. But we've got to get that C. Do. Where is it on the scale? Do, re, mi. To Christ be loyal and be true, his banner be unfurled. Let me do some more. You'll get the hang of it here in a minute. Here's a song that starts on a sol for the sopranos and song leaders. Do, and right there. Now where is it on the scale? Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Years I spent in vanity and pride, caring not my Lord was crucified. Then we get to a song like Wonderful Story of Love. Here's our starting note for song leaders and soprano. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, ti, do. Wonderful story of love. Tell it to me again. Supplement number 10, my eyes have seen your glory. It's in the key of C. So here we go. Do. There's the basses and alto. Where's sopranos? Where's your pitch? Do. Mi. I have seen you walk and the sea roar. I have watched you stumble from my head, Lord. In my heart I have struggled, but I always do. The Holy Redeemer from heaven was you. Second verse. I have seen you heal the lame. Now, dough is in a different place. Like I said last evening, think about a football. No one knows where to line up on a football field until you put the ball on the field. No one knows where to line up singing till we put a dough down. Got to get that dough. Everything is relative to dough. If we're in the key of C, do. What's the me going to sound like? Me. What's the sol going to sound like? Okay. We move the ball down the field. Put do on F. Do. What's the me going to sound like? Me. What's the sol going to sound like? I won't ask you for a high do. Okay. I didn't ask for that. Okay. But anyway, it's all relative to do. All right. Now let's look at is it for me? Starting note right there is for sopranos and song leaders is this. Do. Is it for me, dear Savior, thy glory and thy rest? Who at my door is standing? Here's the starting note. Where's it on the scale? Do, re, mi. Who at my door is standing, patiently drawing near. Work for the night is coming. Look where it is. It's up there. Where is it on the scale? Right there. So we can go right to it. Do, re, mi, fa, so. Work for the night is coming. Work through the morning hours. Work while the dew is sparkling. Work is bringing flowers. Work when the day grows brighter. Work in the glowing sun. Work for the night is coming. When man's work is done. How deep the Father's love is in the key of F. Do, do, so, alto, do, mi, do. How deep the Father's love for us. How vast beyond all measure. That He should give His only Son to make a wreck His treasure. How great the pain of searing loss. The Father turns His face away as wounds which mar the chosen one. Bring these sons to glory. Now, song leaders and everyone, notice what I'm doing with those fermatas, those bird's eyes. Do, mi, do, fa, si, ring, loss. Si, ring, loss. It's on the third beat right there. I'm leaving enough room where I can cut it off and then sweep up to the Father. How great the pain of searing loss. So you got to have a cutoff so we don't keep carrying it on. The Father turns His face away as wounds which mar the chosen one. Bring many sons to glory. Behold the man upon the cross, my sin upon His shoulders. Ashamed, I hear my mocking voice call out among the scoffers. It was my sin that held Him there until it was accomplished. His dying breath has that it is finished. I will not boast in anything, no gift, no power, no wisdom, but I will boast in Jesus Christ, His death and resurrection. Why should I gain from His reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart, His wounds have paid my ransom. You may wonder why there's not a fermata right there. We sort of made one, didn't we? That's okay. I mean, the song is not one that we're in a hurry. And I think we are singing with more emotion. And again, sometimes I tell song leaders, you can kind of break away from the beat pattern. Just don't stay away too long from it. But you always want to keep a beat where people can feel what? Feel the rhythm. Feel the beats of a song. Well, I have a lot more of these, and I'll cover them in the morning at 9 o'clock when we get with the men and boys. And but let me just, there are just quite a few of these. Oh, have y'all done this? Just as I am, I come broken. Okay, I've heard about four. I heard one arrangement. I wasn't too wild about it. It was a train wreck. I'm glad I wasn't leading it that night, but it had a key change in it, and it just did not go well. We have to be real careful when we hear songs on YouTube by some group that's really trained, and I mean it sounds beautiful, and you want to bring that into your congregation and lead it. Wait on leading it till you know it really well, because if you do lead it, it's probably going to end up a train wreck, and then elders might say, no more, we won't have that song led anymore here. I've run into that in places. So work on the song and before you introduce it in the assembly. That's just I think it's just a good idea to do that. Just as I am, I come broken. And then we'll close out. No, now this here, I don't know if y'all have done this or not, but we get to the last verse on Just As I Am. Sopranos are singing for one phrase, joined by the altos on the second phrase, joined by the tenors on the third phrase. On the fourth, the basses come in. Start to say on the fourth verse, the men come in, but that would not be good what it'd say. The men come in on the fourth verse. Tenors, sorry. Okay. But so anyway, be ready for that. You may not have heard that. First time I heard it was in Arkansas, and I really liked the way that it was arranged. And then we did a little bit more tweaking on it. Do, so, mi, do. Just as I am without one plea, but that thy blood was shed for me, and that thou bidst me come to thee, O Lamb of God. To rid my soul remember this song? Sound the battle cry. All right, you're going to hear it now. Okay. I forgot about that one being up there. Key of B flat. Great, great song. Well, you'll see. Great lyrics for this song. It's one you want to stand up right now, please, and sing. All right, this would be better for us to stand. Do, sol, mi alto, do, so. Sound the battle, sing the chorus, praise the sanctuary for the Lord. Gird your armor on, stand firm, everyone, praise the cross of holy word. Rousing soldiers, carry out the banner, ready, steady, as the word of the Lord. Onward, forward, would y'all advance the slides all the way to do all in the name of the Lord? Do all in the name of the Lord. If you will just go ahead and advance that. Well, let me ask, are any questions at all? While they're doing that, any questions? We're going to meet again tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. And then, of course, in the morning at 9 with the song leaders. And so if you have any questions, let me know. And I hear a few of them during the day, and I hope I've covered those tonight. And I've kind of learned, rather than doing too much talking, explaining it, I prefer showing you as we sing together. I think the more and more we sing together in this type of setting, to me, explains things a lot better. And in leading, I don't know, I thought about something a while ago that I was going to point out to the song leaders. When you get off on your beat pattern, what do you think you should do, fellas? Just drop your hand and just leave it down? Don't ever do that. Don't abandon those you're leading. They're looking to you to lead them. Just do this until you find a measure bar, and then you get back to your beat pattern. I got off of my beat pattern. Did y'all notice that? I'm glad you didn't. But even if you did, I just did this until I got to the next measure bar and got back to, I don't know, I was thinking 3 beat instead of 4 beat. And so it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. We're going to make some mistakes, and most people are not even going to notice it. I'm not one for getting up and telling people that, you found it? Oh, do all in the name of the Lord. I'm not one for getting up and saying, well, I'm going to lower this a half step, or I'm going to raise it a half step. There's no need of telling anybody that. Just do it. And because most people are not going to notice. And on a Sunday morning when I'm leading and I'm not really warmed up too well, there's no telling what I might do. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to maybe drop it, but I don't need to tell anybody. You know that most people don't even know what you're talking about when you talk about lowering a half step or raising it. Some people do, but not everyone. So you don't really need to do that. I just believe that we just need to do what we're there for, and that's to lead. And to lead God's people in worship. Okay. We've been extending the invitation each night. Never know who's going to be in the audience. Someone may respond to the invitation to the Lord's invitation. And there have been times when I brought a lesson with someone in mind, hoping that they'd respond to the Lord's invitation. And it just seemed like it went right over their head. At least I thought that. And then someone from over here and over here responds. And I know those people very well, and I'm wondering, they felt the need to respond? They seem to me have it all together. But you know what? We don't know what's going on in people's lives a lot of times, what they're struggling with. And we just never know. But we know that the Lord extends his invitation 24/7. I probably have gotten more calls in the middle of the night, somebody wanting to obey the gospel, than I have people coming down at the end of a sermon, a lesson. Because they went home and were thinking about their life and their condition and knew they needed to do something about it. And I there's nothing that thrills me any more than that phone call that comes whatever hour of the night when it's somebody who wants to get their life right with God. I had some other things to say, but I think that's enough. If there's someone here tonight that wants to do that, why should we delay any longer? Do all in the name of the Lord. Don't live for anyone else but him. And if you're outside of Christ, you're serving the adversary. And that's not good. So if you need to respond tonight, and you haven't obeyed the gospel, you do need to respond tonight while you have opportunity, while we stand and sing. Whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord.